What we do here is go back.
Hi everyone, so for today we're going to be doing a first impression review and demo on the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup Foundation. Whew, that's mouthful. Anyway, so this is how the packaging looks like. You guys can see right now it's very classy. I love it. And for primer, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Foundation Primer because we need to do that. It's just a must for me. And I'm focusing this primer all over my T-zone and just really packing it in using my hands. Alright, so I just wanted to show you guys really quickly my imperfections. I have redness around my nose, dark under eye circles, acne scars around my cheeks, and pretty much just uneven skin color. So we're going to see how this foundation, covers that up. So this foundation did not come with a pump, so I kind of really wish it did, but oh well. Anyway, so I'm gonna pour it in the back of my hand. So as you can see here, it's not too watery, but it's not too thick either. So it wasn't very hard to pour it out. And for blending it, I'm using a wet beauty blender, but first I'm gonna use my finger to spread it all over my face and then use the beauty blender to blend it all out. So for the first layer of this foundation, I did not pour out too much product on the back of my hand. As you guys saw, it wasn't a lot of product at all, so it gave me medium coverage. And as for the blending, using the beauty blender, it was really easy to blend. It wasn't hard at all. So after applying the second layer of foundation for full coverage, it covered pretty much everything. As you can see, there's no dark circles, no redness around my nose, no acne scars around my cheeks, and pretty much even skin tone. And I'm going to use this Bobbi Brown highlight one. I decided to do that, but then again, I didn't really like it, so that's that. Right now 12:38. I don't know if you guys can really see that. 12:38, and I did my makeup and everything, did some blush, contouring, and I did apply a little bit of concealer. I used the new Naked Skin Concealer by Urban Decay. Just applied it on my under eye circles, which after I applied the foundation, after 2 coats of it to make it full coverage, I felt like I didn't need any more coverage, but I just wanted to highlight this area a bit more because this shade right here is a bit lighter than my skin color, so I wanted to apply a little bit more on that area. You guys also saw that I did apply the Bobbi Brown tinted eye brightener, which turned out really bad because this one is, for some reason, it's really watery. It kind of erased the foundation in the parts where I applied this one, so that was kind of weird. So I had to reapply the foundation and then apply the Naked Skin Concealer. But overall, my first impression of this foundation, it definitely reminds me of MAC's Pro Long Wear foundation. It feels very tight on the skin. It feels like it will not go anywhere. Like it's like glued on your skin. Like that's how it feels like. Especially I have normal to oily skin, so right now my skin is not oily at all yet. Throughout the day it tends to get a little oily on my forehead, especially and around my nose. Right now it's not shiny or whatever. It's definitely matte finish. But what I noticed though is that it's kind of just a little bit emphasized my pores around this area. Like it didn't like kind of fill that in, if you know what I mean. So if you have big pores, mine is not that bad, but I do have some on this area here. But if you do have big pores, I definitely recommend for you to use a pore filler, like a primer that's good for covering up the pores, like the professional one. But from far, it's very flawless. This is definitely medium to full coverage. My first layer of the foundation is definitely medium coverage. After I applied the second coat of it, the second layer, it's definitely full coverage like you can see right now. So far, I love this foundation, how it applied on my skin. So let me just quickly read off a bit about this foundation. So the shade that I'm wearing right now is the 3W1 Tawny, And I thought at first it would be a shade darker than my skin color, like what I said in my haul video, my Sephora haul VIB Rouge video. If you haven't seen that, I will link it down below, by the way. But yeah, I thought it was gonna be like half a shade to a shade darker than my skin color, but it's actually like a perfectly match my skin. It's just unbelievable how it matches my skin so perfectly, because other foundation I tend to get a little bit just a shade lighter, which I prefer than getting a shade darker. So I was surprised that this was perfect on my skin color. So 3W1 Tawny, and this has 1 fluid ounces. So from looking at the Sephora website, it has 30 shades, and that's a lot. So it does cover a lot of skin color. It says 15-hour flawless foundation that stays looking fresh and natural through heat, humidity, and non-stop activity. From what it claims to do, this would be my favorite soon enough, especially summer's coming up. For a mom like me who's gonna be a mom of 2, then I will definitely need a foundation that's gonna stay through non-stop activity. So yeah, 15 hours staying power, it says. Oil-free, buildable formula, definitely. Doesn't change color, so we'll see about that. Leaving your makeup looking as fresh as when you first applied it. So this is how it looks right now, so we'll see in a few hours how it looks. It also says it's fragrance free and non-acnegenic, and it's dermatologist tested. So I am outside of my parents' house right now, but I chose to film the first update out here because there's just enough lighting, but it's just too dark inside. So it is right now almost 7, so it's 6:54, as you can see, almost 7. So I'd say almost 6.5 hours that I've had this foundation on, and you know, I've been running errands. Well, not too much air, so you guys can probably hear the wind. Okay, my face definitely looks the same as how I left it. The only difference is that around my eye area here, you can probably tell it's a little bit dark because the Urban Decay Glide On eye pencil, those eyeliners sucks really bad for me, at least, but I have a bunch of them, so I'm trying to finish them off. But every time I wear them, they always, every single time, they smudge around this area here, and even just everywhere. The very first area they smudge around is right here, like in my inner corners. So I always have to wipe it off, not even one time, but like 2 or 3 times. A few hours ago, I was trying to wipe it off with a paper towel, a wet paper towel, and it kind of removed my foundation a bit, so you can kind of tell that the foundation is gone in that area, you know what I mean? The pores, I know I told you guys before that oh, my phone just fell. That's okay, because it has case. I would never let this fall. I told you guys before that this foundation sort of emphasized my pores, but right now that I'm looking at it, it's actually not that bad. Maybe because it was just the very first time. Maybe my pores were just a lot more open at that time. So, but right now it doesn't, I can't even tell anymore. I do have some dry spots on my nose here, so that's, I can kind of tell that that area right there, it's a little bit drying. I've been scratching around my nose because I do have some allergies, so I do scratch my nose or like blow my nose and all that. But like as you can see, you don't even see any redness around that area here, because this is usually where the most of my redness are. So I can't even see that. So you can really tell that this foundation is supposed to be long lasting and it won't go anywhere. And I have normal to oily skin, so usually around this time, after wearing a foundation for about 6 hours, usually my T-zone starts to get oily, especially my forehead, but this one's doing a really great job controlling it. As you can see right now, I'm not oily at all. This foundation also is holding off my my face powders really nicely. Like my blush, you can see, and my contour powder, it's still, like, you can still see it. I have not touched up whatsoever, but you can still see my blush, my Becca blush, this one right here. Like, my powders are holding on to the foundation really nicely. So I can only say good things about this right now. I can't say anything. 1:12 in the morning, so 1:12 a.m. So it's been about 12 and a half hours, and this foundation is a definite must-have for you out there who have normal to oily skin, or even if you have extremely oily skin. This foundation would be the best foundation for you. I'm starting to get a little bit shinier, obviously, on my forehead here because I did not touch up whatsoever, so I didn't blot or anything. I didn't do anything with my face. So I had lunch, snacks, dinner, went to the movies, ran some errands and everything. I mean, it's not really hot outside. It's actually pretty chilly here in Toronto again. But the foundation stayed on. Like, it says it has a 15-hour staying power. I believe that because it's already been 12 and a half hours and my face still looks so flawless, even though it didn't even touch up. Also, the powder, like the blush, as you can see, and even the contour, like you can see, it stayed put. And I think like when powder products stayed put on your face and it's still well in place, it has something to do with the beauty of the foundation, with the base that you have on. So the foundation, and my face does look a little bit oilier because the light is pointing right at me, so I can kind of see here from my rear view that my face looks a little bit oilier than how I look in the mirror. This foundation is just perfect. It leaves you flawless for such a long time. 12 and a half hours is a long time. Usually the foundation that I wear, they usually last me 8 hours and like the coverage is gone. And you can definitely see that my nose though is starting to show up a little bit red, and that's because I have stuffed up nose and I always touch up my nose. I always touch my nose, scratch around the area, and blow my nose as well because, like I said, I have stuffed up nose, I have cold, and also I do have allergies, so I always tend to blow my nose. Anyways, if you have dry skin though, I think this will still work out for you. Just like really moisturize, prime your face really nicely, and also, you know, highlight if you wanted to add a bit more of dewiness, because this foundation definitely dries matte right after you apply it. This is it, 12 and a half hours. Did an amazing job. Definitely check out my website, makeupbymissky.com, because there will be before and after photos there, and also like a breakdown of the products of this product review on there. If you're interested to see, I will link it down below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Mwah.